everyone, welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today with a little bit of artful alteration, I guess. We're going to do some fun modification to a commercially purchased sweater for my daughter. This sweater is from Old Navy, and it is a wool sweater. Let me just grab the tag here. Yeah, so it is wool. Let me see if it gives me any other details about it. Nope, it's just a wool sweater. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make this boring gray sweater a little more interesting. And part of my desire right now is to try to use up things, specifically fabric, because I have a huge ton of fabric. Also a lot of fabric that I've already had in my stash for a long time, or clothing that I have sewn in the past that I want to reuse. So there's going to be also a journaling element to this, because there's a little bit of fabric bits that I do want to make some journal cards with. So I'm going to do that as part of this video as well. So I'll get the sweater out of here and I'll tell you my plan. My first plan is I want to separate these. This is an old dress that I sewed for my little one when she was very little. And also when I was new to creating my own garments, like without a pattern. I just kind of went a little wild, as I usually do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut up the seam all the way here on both pieces of fabric. Then I will also just cut these two armholes, because we aren't going to need that. This had this funny little tail on the back, I remember. I'm going to get rid of that though, because it's just kind of in the way. And then I would like to separate these two fabrics from one another, because they're going to have two separate purposes. Okay, set that to the side. Now, this is really just that I want to save any of the still usable vintage characters from this dress. So look at this vintage bunny with this balloon. Isn't that just beautiful? It's so cute and so retro. And these I'm going to make a journal card out of for my retro journals that I will make someday. So that's one scrap for that. That deer is still whole. We can get the deer. Bit thick trim off the bottom. Has a bunny on its back. Okay, that's good. Nothing there. This has a seam running through it, so I'm not going to use it. That we could probably use for a journal card as well. Our bunny with the bubble. Get rid of this. Here we have a deer. And this was made from a 1970s baby blanket. So cute. Okay, this is just all kind of nothing specific. Okay, so those are the pieces that I'll use for journal cards, but I'm going to set them aside so I can get into the other project that I want to do. Now the whole purpose of me trying to save this fabric is about trying to get two pieces. So I think this piece will work, and then this piece. That's all I'll be able to use. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to get my iron and my little wool ironing board. I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got my little ironing board kind of here. So what I'm going to do is just lay down these two pieces of scrappy fabric from the dress. And I'll cut off the thick edge from the other piece of fabric that we don't need. I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. I'm just going to grab my iron. Okay, now let's iron these. Just get all the wrinkly wrinkles out of that center bit. Stubborn wrinkle. Okay. Just set the iron, you know, I'll put it away, it's safer. Let's not burn anything or anyone today. All right, so now what I would like to do is we'll take these off of the felt, and so I want this to be the inside. So it's the wrong side, and this is also going to be the wrong side. So I'm going to take the right side and just double check. This right side is good too. Yeah. Actually, that one can be the right side because they're both fine. And I'm just trying to get the largest piece of fabric that I can here. So this will be good side and good side. Okay. Now I'm just going to take a regular pencil and I'm going to draw kind of a circle, just a, you know, relatively rough circle shape. Does not need to be perfect. So that's what I want there. Then I will take a pin or two just to keep these together. Okay. And then we'll cut right around that circle. These can be a little oblong. I'm okay with that. All right, get rid of the scraps, and we have this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the sewing machine. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm not heading to the sewing machine yet. We're creating a whole thing here. Okay. So this circle is right side to right side on the inside. Okay, think about what you need to do here, Cindy. This is my first time doing this. Okay. So I think what I need to do is actually slightly more complicated. We need to go around the edge of this, and basically we're going to need a clean edge. So what I'm going to do is basically go like this, but hold on, with about 1/4 inch around. Now think, does it need to have a backing for what I'm doing? No, you know what? I think I can keep these entirely separate of one another, which is cool. You know, you're just on a journey with me right now, right? I've never done this before. And you'll see, like, once I get one of these done, I'm just going to do this, like, sort of short tutorial-ish thing. Not a professional tutorial, not one that's being filmed in, like, stages. Just going around, and the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm going to want to sew this down so I get a clean non-fraying edge. And you could also put like interfacing on this, like that might make it easier. I'm just choosing to be like doing this kind of, when I was in high school, we used to call these hack and slash projects, because we would take existing clothing, cut it up, and make new clothing with it. Okay. Almost there. One more pin. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to do, I'm going to set this aside. This fabric, this rainbow beautiful fabric that I dyed as part of a class with Barbara Hiltz that I took quite some time ago now. I'm going to need to get enough of this fabric to cover the full diameter of that circle, and I think I can get it from this direction. So what I'm going to do, I've already got like one kind of cut here. I'm going to just tear a strip of this cotton. So now I'm going to come over here, and I need my iron because this is a little wonky on this edge. It's a little bit folded. And we need it to be flattened. Okay. Alrighty, so now I want to fold this in half and iron it again. Now all these little thread scraps that are hanging around my studio. There's a professional seamstress watching this, or like a sewing person, a sewing channel person. Don't come for me. I'm here for fun, and that's all it is. Fun and experimentation. Let's move this up a little. There we go. Fluffy. Okay. So now we're going to come back to that yellow piece. I am going to leave the iron here. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it's going to hurt anybody. We'll see though. That's actually, no, I'm going to put it back. Both for safety and for reasons that I'll probably need it again. So we'll come back here now, and I'm going to put this here. But first, hold on, I need to do one more thing, and that's fold in this edge, you know, because we don't want any edges visible. Okay. And we'll come back over here to this. And we need to put that back through. Okay. Then I'm going to create like a little ruffle. Okay. A little ruffle. Use your felt, if you have one of these felts, to use to poke it through so that you don't hurt your fingers. No fingers. And just make sure you're keeping your fold down. In total, you're going to have probably, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of fabric that you've got to poke through. So that's why I say it's good to have a felt back there, or some kind of a cushiony surface. Okay. I'm just going one pin at a time. Remove it, make a little ruffle, come back. And in again. Okay. So leave me a comment if you're a journaler, but you also enjoy any kind of artful stitching or sewing, or if you aren't a journaler, or you are, it doesn't matter, but if you've ever done, like, you know, freeform kind of mods of clothing like this. So like, one of my fun things I like to do with my kids is I live a little bit vicariously through their clothing, primarily my daughter. I like to make her weird, interesting clothes. You know, I want her to be like, I want her to feel like she can express herself and be creative. And also she, at this age anyways, is happy to indulge my flair for weird clothing. I mean, I also do this kind of thing for myself, but there's something so like gratifying about working on kids projects, because they're so quick, you know. I mean, this isn't quick, but it's quicker than if I had to do a larger piece for myself with more of these sort of handmade strange appliques that I'm making here. This pin does not want to go in. Hold on. There we go. Whew. Some of these pins, and I don't know why, in this package are a little thicker than the others. So they're not as like sharp. I probably could find a different pack of pins. I think I have a million different kinds of pins in this studio. But what is life without struggle? Okay, again. Now, if I were in the mood, which I'm not, I would have probably measured this ahead of time, or I could take it back out to see kind of what the circumference I used was. But then I guess all of these will vary as I make them, so it will always be a risk where I'm just going to cut a little more than I think I will need, because you don't want to run out. That's the thing. Although you can attach two. We could go in with two pieces. You just have to make sure you fold those ends in like I did at the beginning, like you turn in that end, so you're not going to have any part of this that has that gnarly end fabric. We're going to have to do the same here. So we'll create our last pleat. Alright, so there's the last pleat. So see, this is what this looks like on the front. Now, I'll cut a little extra here. That's what we have left over. We could make another circle with that piece too, which would be kind of neat. Now, what I'm going to do with this piece is take out one of my pins and stick it inside that other pleat that I made, that other piece I folded over. Then I've got both of those raw edges trapped. So I'll go back in with my pin, trap it again. How did you get up front? That's interesting. Let's put you back at the back. Maybe I never used you. That must be what it is. Let's go back here. Just use you as an extra. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is go to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch with a single stitch around here a couple of times to create like a fun freeform bit of stitching. And I'm seeing I've got a little escaped yellow here. So let's make sure that's fully inside. Now it is. Okay. Actually, I'm going in from the wrong side. Okay. That's good. All right, so I'm going to go stitch this carefully, making sure everything stays trapped, and I will come back. All right, so I've stitched around, and this is what I have. This is what the back looks like. I did a bunch of freeform kind of straight stitches. I did have blue in on my thread, but then I changed it to black. I just thought it would be a little more effective. So I have to make a few of these because what I want to do, I want to do a cluster of these around up here, like around the shoulder, I think. So like the first one would go here. And I want to put one on the side of the arm, and then I want to do some more on the opposite side of the hip. And I have to find out if I'm going to be able to stitch these on with my machine. I suspect no, it's just going to be too hard, especially up here. Like, I don't know, I might be able to. It's just, it'll probably just be overall easier to slow stitch them on, and I would just follow this line. But I probably can use my machine for the ones that I do down toward the hip, the bottom at the hip. Because this will be a lot easier, like, to do here. It's flat, so maybe I will stitch this one on now, or maybe I will wait. I'll do maybe the cluster of them. I'll create a few, and then I'll have like those options, you know, when I'm ready to go. So I'll do the same thing now with this. Come around, you know, do my pinning. This will kind of pre-crease the fabric for when I need to come back with the this stuff, and I will have to cut another piece of that. I'll use that pink one up because, like I said, you can use more than one piece. We can intersect them into each other like I did with this one. So yeah, maybe I will create some of these and then I'll have all them ready. So just to show you, I selected a few different fabrics for the centers of these, not all yellow. So I want to make one of those circles with this as the center, as well as this like light blue and silvery, and then this yellow floral. So, you know, obviously they're going to need to be a little smaller because I won't have as much real estate. But again, it's using up my scraps. So that is the plan. So why don't I make a bunch of these from all those fabrics? Then I'll come back and show you how I'm thinking about placing them. And that will be our next step. Alrighty, we have stitched around all of these. So I did a thing. Okay, so this is what the normal ones looked like, right? I created two with just the shorter bits that I had left over because this one I think I want to put it on the shoulder. So like the shoulder will be here and then it won't be kind of coming up into the neck. So we have a total of 6 of these. So now I just got to grab the sweater and place them where I think I'm going to want them to be. So let's grab the sweater and make sure that we have the front here. I do. All right. So I'm actually going to start with that one for the shoulder that I said I wanted to use. It has the opening right here. So we'll go in here and get to the center part of the shoulder, the center seam. And I want that to go like that. So it will be one that's on the arm. We'll do a little bit of pinning. And again, I think I more than likely will have to do hand stitching because, you know what, I'm going to get my, yeah, give me one sec. All right, so I've just got my vintage ironing board here because I want to use it as a way to mold the sleeve if I can, to just get a nice flat surface. Let's go into the sleeve and then pull this up here, and that will give me that nice flat and single layer to deal with. Okay, so bring this up onto the arm where I want it. Good, and then I'll be able to pin that down a little easier, knowing I'm not going to pin through the other edge of the sweater. This is just like doing the layout. It helps me kind of figure out where I want things to be. Okay. And I don't need to pin the whole thing like, you know, like I'm going to be sewing or something. I just need a few pins to just keep it where I want it to be, so that when I start my hand stitching of these, I will have everything laid out properly. I'm just going to turn this a little so I can get even in here. There we go. So that's that one. I'll just set that aside because I don't know if I'll need it again or not. Okay. Good, good. So now that will be like that when it's bent. We won't go on to here because that's like the underarm. This one I want for the bottom. I'll use this big yellow one next here, I think. And then maybe it down a little more like that, and then no, this little blue one maybe. I want that bright yellow like that, and then this like this. Should they overlap a little less? Bring this down a little more. Kind of want that one on top. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. That's what I want. 3, 4 up here, and then 3 for the bottom. So let's go in here. Got this one pinned. Good. Then I'll come up from the bottom Actually, it's easier from the top. Sorry if I get a little out of focus here. Give me 1 second. I just got a pin. It's a little tricky. Okay, so there we go. We've got those on there how we want them. Now the bottom, how I want it to go will be from the side of the hip here. I want this one, then maybe this one overlapping a little bit on there. It could be cute. And then the big one there. Yeah, that's what I want. A little fuzzy. Okay. Oh, this is upside down. That looks better. And do we want it to hang off the bottom maybe a little? Yeah, that would be cute. A little bit off the bottom. Okay. Alright, so those are pinned on. I might just put one more pin where I want these to overlap, just to hold that down nicely. Okay, we're getting a little thick there. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so the objective now will be to sew these all on. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to give an effort with the sewing machine with these ones to see if I can go over this with the sewing machine. I'm going to have to lift this part up, sew that one on, then lay it down, then sew it, and just, you know, kind of mind all my gaps, right? So I will try to do that, and I'll come back and I'll report back to you how it goes. If it goes well, I'll probably try to do the same for these, but this one I'm like 99% sure I'm going to have to hand stitch because I don't know that I can get that on my machine, but I can try. I'll be back. Okay, so I got a few tacking stitches in the shoulder, and I got a few more in the bottom, but I still think I just really want to go in with some hand stitching with some nice bright yellow floss like this. So I'm going to stitch around right where the black thread circles are, only because I want the edges of this to stay like loose and flouncy. And what else? Okay, so the needle I'm using is actually a sewing needle, not an embroidery needle like you would normally use for embroidery, because I am sewing through cotton. So I want it to be sharp and not leave a gigantic hole, because this is a garment. It's not like a cross-stitching fabric. So I used about the hole with the smallest hole possible to get a whole bit of the 6 strands of embroidery floss through, and it's nice and sharp. So I've already tied a knot in the bottom one, and I think I'll start with this area here of overlap, so I can just get that all tacked down, because that's going to make my life a little bit easier. So we'll get this through, and we've got the knot at the back neatly here. Yep, it's back there. And then I'll just kind of hold it nice and flat, and I'm just going to do a regular single, like, you know, is it blanket stitch, right? Just a simple, nice blanket stitch. And then I'm going to back stitch to just come up neatly, stitch to stitch. I'll show you what I mean here. Hold on. So see, when you back stitch, you get to choose where that stitch will sit. And then on the back, you know, you come through, and then you just leave a little space, because your stitch is going to be behind where your needle's going to pop out. So I'm going to bring my needle up here. Okay, I need to trim off, this is a little thread end from the sewing machine. Another benefit of hand stitching is not having to deal with these little ends of your thread everywhere. So then I'll come down right next to that other yellow stitch there. Tug through, and I still have to deal with some thread ends on the back of here from the sewing machine. Let's get those all out of there because they will be annoying on the garment if you leave them hanging. And if you find that this is a little hard to pull through in the areas where it's a little thicker, you can use a plier to pull it through. I do that quite often because why fight it when you can just easily use a plier like this and just save your hands the stress, right? That's easy. So you'd be surprised, like what doesn't feel like a big deal at the time, you do it about 30 times and you'll start to really feel some stress on your hands. So, you know, that can impact your hands over time, definitely. Okay. So I'm just going to go all the way around these circles on all of these. So I will do that off camera and then I'll come back and I will show you our final product and then we'll make those journal cards real quick. Okay, my hand stitching is finally done. That didn't take too long, maybe an hour-ish. Yes, I am done. Okay, I didn't see the yellow on the yellow and had a little mini heart attack. Okay, so here's the collar. Now off to this one side, the shoulder here, this is this, and it goes around. And then at the bottom hip, you come up and we've got this. Then what I did was I used the rest of the leftover of this rainbow to create a ruffle along the bottom, sort of just about halfway. It'll probably wrap around half of her body. I did that for a couple reasons. The first one was needing this at the back to cover the back side of the unfinished bit under here, because remember I wanted it hanging off of the edge, so now that's covered. Then also the bottom of this sweater it's straight. It's like, I think it'll be it would hang on someone if they were to wear it. It doesn't have elastic or anything. So I thought that having this ruffle here would kind of add a nice detail. So what I'll do at the end of the video, I will share a couple of censored images of my daughter in the fit so that you can see what it looks like. And I hope she likes it. They're out at the playground right now, so they'll be back soon. I am just having a little bit of Manuka Honey Hero Tea. I'm not sick. It's just one of the varieties of teas that I got from David's Tea, and it's pretty to look at. I always love how loose teas look. I used to work in a tea shop many moons ago, and I really like loose tea. Manuka Honey Hero, I've got to say, it's a little spicier than a little stronger than I was expecting. I may try putting a little bit of milk, some kind of maybe milk in it, and see how that goes. Now. Ooh, yeah, it's quite strong. Okay, it's like, I don't have a cold. Maybe if I had a cold, I would like it better. But 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're gonna make 4 journal cards with these little bitties. So I'm gonna start, I think, with book pages. Get rid of this gnarly one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pull those off there. Okay, so then I'm just going to use like one at a time. We're doing a really simple thing here. It's just really a project of like, let's use things. Because yeah, it's good to use up my stuff. I sort of have this thought in mind. I've got this one pillowcase that I have on the floor here in my studio beside my desk, and it's full of children's clothes that I just absolutely couldn't part with, and I wanted to use them in projects, so I'd like to get through that bag by the end of January if I can. I also have a big cleanup project in my studio planned for sometime this year. Hopefully the sooner the better. Probably February would be a good time, I'm hoping. And it is my whole fabric stash. I would like to go through it, get rid of what I don't want, and fold and organize everything else, probably by color, I think. Let's just no, let's not back this again yet. We'll back it once I've got it trimmed to the size that I want. So yeah, those are kind of my products that I would really like to get to. Take a bit off the bottom, we don't need all that. Okay. We'll get some folder. And we'll go around here. So my son is extremely into this children's content creator. He's on YouTube as well as other places, and his name is Danny Go, and he makes like really fun musical educational content for kids. If you have little kids between the ages of, I'd say, like, I don't know, honestly, like newborn and 10, he's quite far-reaching, I've got to say. I think a lot of kids like him because his music is music that, like, you will not as a parent be offended by. Like, there's some things I think as parents we're like, no, like, I don't want to deal with this. For me, one of those things is Caillou, the evil bald boy from a cartoon called Caillou, which, if you're not, I don't know, I think it might be Canadian. So I've heard lovely things about the creator of Caillou. Oh, just one moment. Sorry about that. That was my family asking about lunch plans. So where was I? I don't remember what I was talking about. That's okay. Let's just get this page re-glued here because it kind of got a little dry. Then we'll put this deer down. Pull that wrinkle a bit because we don't want that bunny to get scrunched. Okay. Go. Yeah, so I'm excited to try that sweater on my daughter. Oh, I was talking about Danny Go. That's what I was talking about because it was about clothing. So Danny Go is a children's content creator with like music that's cool and you know, fun to dance to, fun for even adults to listen to. It doesn't drive you crazy. It has no whiny elements to it. It's not super over repetitive or any of those things, right, that can be kind of hard for adults to deal with children's programming. I was cursing Caillou, Caillou, for those of you not aware of the demon child that is Caillou. He is programming that I actually don't allow in my house for a couple of reasons. Because number one, I don't know that I'm prepared to deal with my kids ever acting like Caillou, who just like basically whines and throws a temper tantrum about like literally everything. And I don't feel that the show has a very productive way of like working these things out. Like the parents do so much like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's beyond the normal negotiation that you must do with toddlers. Like, I'm a gentle parent. I'm a very much into gentle parenting. So, like, whining or whatever doesn't really bother me. I have a lot of strategies to kind of work with that and to settle it down, to distract from it, all those things. But yeah, like there's some children's programming that I always have been like very, I don't know, I just don't like, and some of it's a lot more innocent than you would realize. Like there's this one show called Max and Ruby, and it's like, it's a very cute and quiet, good bedtime kind of cartoon, but like as an adult who pays attention to like the themes of the cartoon, it's essentially a little girl named Ruby who's like a wonderful kid, and then her little brother Max, who's also a wonderful kid, bunny kid, but they have no parents, and like every now and then there's like a grandma who visits, but on the most part all of the labor of everything falls on the female older sister Ruby, while Max, the little boy, it's kind of like a boys will be boys bad boy kind of thing, like where he just wreaks havoc, never listens to anybody, including Ruby, does whatever he wants. And then much like the theme of Curious George, who's also a monkey, and he's like really bad the whole time, he does everything against the rules, he doesn't listen to anybody, he gets into constant mischief that only by the miracle of writing he doesn't, get himself killed or maimed. Then in the end, both of these shows do the same thing, which is they reward the awful behavior with some really weird like experience that's like, oh, but it was a good thing that, the bad character dumped paint all over the house, because as it turns out, when he did that, it like notified the adults next door that there had actually been a fire in the house, and if it hadn't been for this behavior, nobody would have known. Like, it's always that kind of thing where like the bad kid becomes like the hero, but not bad kid, but like the totally unacceptable behavior becomes like the good kind of good thing, and I find that really hard to deal with as an adult. I think it sends like the entirely wrong message to kids, and they don't even probably get it. Like, I'm sure they don't even see it, but it kind of subconsciously gives them this idea that like it's totally cool to just jump off the top of a car or something ridiculous like Curious George. So there's another term that I like to think of, and that's curiosity killed the cat. So let's not forget that one. That's my bit of like being mom for a minute. So now I have this and this, and I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and just sew all around these and come right back. These are all stitched around now, so we will just cut these out. Super cute. So I'm having a productive holiday already. Last night, my daughter and we sat in bed and watched a Ghibli movie. Which one did we watch last night? I'm trying to remember the name. It wasn't Nausicaa. We watched that the other night. Spirited Away. That's what we watched. And I worked on the sock that I was knitting for her. It's holiday socks I'm knitting for her. And I finished one, so I got one more to go. So she's like, oh, these are so cozy. Can I just wear them in bed? And I'm like, well, I only have one finished. But it didn't take that long. I got it done within like a week of interrupted knitting. So it doesn't take too long to make kids stuff. Though it's a lot slower than it was when she was really little. I'm going to make my son a pair of socks after her, and that will be a little faster, but not as fast as baby socks. So now we have 4 fun little, very sweet vintage journal cards. So look how productive we were today. We finished this altered sweater and some journal cards, all out of reuse fabrics. So thank you for hanging out with me. I will talk to you again very soon, and I hope you liked this little bit of a stitchy kind of different project for me today. Let me know if you're sewing or knitting or doing anything with string. I would love to hear. So have a great day. Bye for now.